Hi folks, it feels great to be back. In case you didn't notice, I've been mostly absent for a couple weeks. I've been out elk hunting. I was lucky enough to get an elk last Sunday, so we're back, and it's time to get back to reloading. And I thought, what better way to get back to some reloading than to load up some 38 Special Plus Ps to try out in my Ruger GP100 Match Champion. This guy here. We haven't shot this nearly enough here on the channel. And another thing that made me want to load for this is I got a package from the Hot Lead Zone. Fortune Cookie 45LC sent me a couple boxes of 125 grain Hornady XTPs, which I appreciate very much. And 125 grain Hornady XTPs, I can't think of a better choice for some nice hot 38 specials. So that's going to be the plan for today. So to pick out some powders, I hopped on, first of all, the Hodgdon website. They've got some Plus P 38 special data, and the highest velocity they show is with Hodgdon Longshot. So I thought that might be our best choice for a Hodgdon powder. And over on the Western Load Guide, they've got some pretty decent numbers with Ramshot Silhouette. So that's the way we're going with the Ramshot option. Now, the load data from both of the powder manufacturers uses Winchester small pistol primers, standard small pistol primers that I don't have any on hand. So I'm going to go with some Federal small pistol primers. These are the small pistol match primers from Federal, but you know, whatever. I figure they'll do just as good as any. So for brass, we are using some Starline 38 Special brass. This is some nickel-plated stuff that we've had. We've shot a little bit of 38 Special here on the channel, but not a ton. But this is the brass we've been using. Seems to be doing fine. It is a bit short. I'm still like 10,000 short of trim length, which puts us about 20,000 short of the maximum case length. And I was looking a little bit ago at our overall length. Hodgdon shows an overall length with this bullet of 1.455, and Ramshot load data shows 1.445. But even at 1.445, it's still a little bit shallow into that cantilever. Or, you know, the cantilever is not quite down into the case as much as I'd like to see. So it might need to go a little bit deeper, maybe 1.440, something like that. So here on the screen is our load data. So whatever that overall length says right now is what we ended up going with later. And as far as charge weights, so with Longshot, they show a maximum charge of 7 grains. So let's shoot a couple different charge, let's shoot 3 different charge weights here. Let's go 6.2, 6.6, and then 7.0 grains. They don't give a starting load for their Plus P data, and they don't have this powder in standard pressure, in the standard pressure load data. So kind of making it up as we go here as far as a starting load goes. But that's a little over 10% lower below max. So I figured that'd be a decent place to start. So 6.2, 6.6, and then the max of 7.0. On the Ramshot Silhouette side, I want to go 5.8, 6.2, and 6.7. And 6.7 is what they show for their max, and they show, whatever, 6.7. So we'll load up 50 rounds. So I'll load 5 rounds of the lowest charge and then 10 rounds of each of the higher charge. So for each powder, that'll make 25 rounds. Should be a nice little trip to the range, a nice way to ease back into this, try and get back into the flow. Should make a nice little return from our elk hunt. So if you haven't followed along, I'm still pretty darn new at loading 38 Special and 357 Magnum. So let's go ahead and let's run through all the steps here. And if you guys see me screwing something up, let me know in the comments. How about that? As far as dies go, I've got the Lee Deluxe pistol set here for 38 Special and 357 Magnum. Got our Lee #1 shell holder. Turn on our press light. There we go. Resizing die is easy enough. We screw it down until it touches. And this is a carbide sizing die, so we don't have to lube our cases or any of that crap. Let's go ahead and throw our expander die in there. This guy is down until it touches and then out one full turn. And then we adjust it from there, but with these jacketed bullets, shouldn't need a whole lot of flare, I wouldn't think, to get our bullets started. So, all right, here's the first one. Resized, and a little bit of flare. That one's got a little bit of a nick on the case mouth. See if we can sit a bullet down in here now. Not quite. Let's go a little bit farther. That was maybe an additional 1/16 of a turn. Still not quite. You could get away with this. Like I said, with a jacketed bullet, you could get away with just jamming them down in there. But I don't want to, man. I want to go ahead and get a little bit more flare. Nope. One more. Oh, now that's better. All right, now it just gets right down in there. And it's ready to go. And it doesn't look bad. Like, it doesn't look like a freaking trumpet or anything. But it's enough to get that bullet started straight. Which is important. Which is very important. All right, so I just need to run our 50 cases through here and we'll be ready for some primers. I'll tell you one thing I have noticed on these bullets, which I've noticed it on Hornady hollow points before. It just kind of popped in my mind because I had opened up the box to look there. A lot of these get these little boogers in there in the hollow point. Leftovers from the manufacturing process of some sort. And sometimes they're like fully clogged. Yeah, here's a good one. Look at this guy. That's not good. Especially if you're in a situation where you need this guy to expand. We can pick it out of there with yeah, look at that. So, something to keep in mind. Something I noticed. Something I thought I should bring up. Oh man, yeah. So I just hand weighed all of our Longshot charges. I broke the hopper on my RCBS Uniflow powder measure, so I've been yeah. I'll tell you what. As soon as I finish recording this, I'm going to call up RCBS and see if I can get a new hopper for my powder measure because the Lee scoops work really well, but yeah, it's a whole lot faster to set up a powder measure. All right, so I've got our 25 Longshot charges weighed out, and it's time to set up our bullet seating die and our crimp die. I'll tell you what, while I got this bullet seating die in my hand, let's have a look at the seating stem in the Lee die and see how well it fits the Hornady XTP. You can see it's a very shallow dish. And that's what it looks like when it touches your bullet during bullet seating. So not bad. Not exactly like, you know, an intimate cradling fit or anything, but it's at least halfway decent and should provide a little bit of alignment, right? Because that's yeah, it's not so much a thing here with a 38 special or 357, but especially with rifle bullets, you rely on that seating stem to get that bullet straight during seating. And we get a little bit of that here, but not so much. And that's why, another good reason why it's important to get that flaring die set right to where your bullet sits down in there and you can you get it straight. It doesn't need a whole lot of alignment help during seating. So I don't know how I got off on that subject, but whatever. All right, this guy, we screw it down until it touches and back it out 3 full turns. And let's get it seated down somewhat close to the cantilever, and then we'll start measuring. All right, 1.457. So the Hodgdon recommended overall length was 1.455. So this is pretty much it. I'll tell you what, I'll give it just the tiniest of tweaks. That should be right about 1.455-ish. Yep, 1.454. But let's have a look at the cantilever. Yeah, the case mouth is just barely. Man, my camera is losing its marbles. It's a little rusty too. You know, a couple weeks off and it doesn't know how to focus anymore. But still a whole lot of cantilever going on there. So let's take it down 10 thousandths to what Ramshot suggested at 1.445. And I went a little bit too far, 1.441. Yeah, but in that case, now it looks a whole lot better than it did. Tell you what, I'm going to give it the tiniest of tweaks here. Try to get to 1.440. Now this is not necessarily the smartest thing in the world, because with both of these powders, we're going all the way to maximum charge weight. You know, the maximum plus P charge weight. And yeah, that one read 1.442, so just another little tweak. And putting that bullet farther down in the case and reducing that effective case capacity is going to increase our pressures. So we're already at max plus P, and then we're going a little bit more. Not necessarily the smartest thing in the world, but I'm hoping we'll be okay. So yeah, that looks pretty good. There we go. There's a little extra zoom in. So that doesn't look bad. Okay, moving on to our crimp die. This guy gets screwed down until it touches. Then we lock it down. And we take a completed round, put it up inside of the die. I've got the adjuster all the way out. And then we screw it down until we feel it touch. There it is, and they say a half turn for a light crimp. There's a half turn. See what that looks like. Yeah, it's tucked in there a little bit, but it definitely is a little bit light still. So let's go ahead and go that additional half turn. They say 1 full turn for a heavy crimp. So this is their heavy crimp setting. Whoa, that was a little bit too much. It felt super heavy, and I think it's just a little bit too much. So let's come out like a quarter turn and try the next round. I backed out a little bit too much. There we go. That feels pretty good. Let's have a close-up look at that guy. So on the right is the one where we just went a little bit too far. Kind of has a little weird ring right at the case mouth. Yeah, I think it just went a little bit too far. But this guy here is about a quarter turn less than that, and it's looking pretty good. Yeah, looking real good. So the other one that we went a little bit heavy with, it's still fine. I'm going to go ahead and shoot it, but I like that, that slightly lighter setting a little bit better. Now, before I go ahead and seat and crimp all the rest, let's go ahead and grab our Rudy Tooty point and shooty here and make sure these guys, oh yeah, feels nice. Easy in, easy out. Looks like we're in good shape. So I guess that's really all there is to it. I just need to weigh out our 25 charges of Ramshot Silhouette, seat those bullets, and we'll be ready to hit the range. All right, folks, we might be in for some ugly groups today because I'm shooting at 15 yards. I normally keep it at 7 or 10, but I feel like a challenge today, so we're stretching it out to 15 yards. I've got my Caldwell Ballistic Precision Chronograph out there to get velocity data, and we are starting with 6.2 grains of Longshot. Those are 1-inch dots down there. So let's see if I can hold some groups tight enough to keep them on the paper. All right, here we go. 5 shots with 6.2 grains of Longshot. All right, it's 824 feet per second. So nice and slow. I'm pretty happy with that group. That's very good for me at this distance. This is a good shooting pistol. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just really have to work at it at 15 yards. So hopefully I can keep that up. Next group, 5 shots of 6.6 grains. All right, so that was a nice bump in velocity, average of 926. So last up is 7.0 grains. We'll shoot a 5-shot group with these guys. They ought to be pretty smoking fast. So let's see if they'll group. That was a significant jump in recoil. I don't see anything weird going on with the brass. No pressure signs that I can see. So that's good, but the velocity, a little bit all over the place, right? Those standard deviation numbers are not terribly impressive with the Longshot. Okay, switching over to Ramshot Silhouette. Our first group is 5.8 grains. Let's hope this powder gives us a little more consistent velocities. Here we go. There are a couple good reasons for a grown man to cry, right? Death in the family, exceptionally sad movie, stubbing your toe really bad. You know, there are several. But there is one that above all others completely justifies curling up in a ball and crying. And that is spilling your ammo case. And that is what has happened to me. I had it sitting on the ground here beside me, and I don't even know what I did, but somehow I managed to tip this guy over, and I have completely lost track of what's what. So I took about a half-hour break to try and decide what to do, whether to just scrap this video and start over. And I think I'm gonna try to move forward. I think I might have got the rounds back in the rows they belong. So I want to go ahead and just shoot them. And I'm hoping that, you know, that there's enough velocity differences between our different charge weights to where even if I get one or two mixed up in there, we can sort it out later and get good valid velocity data and stuff like that. So that's where we stand. Everything's screwed up. And yeah, whatever. We're just going to keep on shooting. So I think these next rounds, more than likely, are 6.2 grains of Ramshot silhouette. Let's hope. What really makes me mad is, man, that first group with silhouette looked so good. And the velocity numbers were good and all that stuff. So aggravating. That shot was much louder and much faster, so yeah, definitely got some mixed up here. All right, I think these 5 shots, this is from the last row. And if there's any row that I should have been able to get back into the box where they belong, it's the last ones, right? The ones that were on the very end of the pile. So I'm hoping this is 6.7 grains of silhouette. Let's see how they do. So the hottest ones from here on this side of the box seem to be around that 875 feet per second mark. So we didn't quite get as much velocity as we did with Longshot, but the groups are definitely tighter. So here's 5 more. I'm going to shoot them at that same third dot. All right, 5 more. I thought these were 6.2 grains, so back to the center dot. Tell you what, I'll shoot these double action. All right, back up to the top row. These are some more that I think are 6.6 grains of Longshot. Let's continue our double action practice here. We'll shoot at the center dot. All right, several of that last group were right up around the upper 900 feet per second range, almost 1,000 feet per second. So that was clearly not what I thought it was. What a freaking mess. Here's the last 5 shots. I have no idea what the hell they are. We'll continue shooting at that center dot. All right, so it ended up being a complete mess, but it was a lot of fun. I really haven't shot this gun a whole lot, so this was excellent practice. So let's get back to the bench. All right, so even though this video is a bit of a mess, I think there are a couple things we can learn. For one, Silhouette just shot better. It just did. And I think it had to do with the more consistent velocity we were seeing. I wasn't able to dig through the weeds and separate all the shots and get standard deviation numbers for 6.2 and 6.7 grains, but at least the 5.8 grain Silhouette standard deviation number we got was good, was 10.3. I think, a little bit faster burning powder. Silhouette's a faster powder than Longshot. I think we were just getting a better burn, because another major thing I noticed with the first few shots, or actually, as I was shooting Longshot, I was getting unburned powder everywhere. There was in the cases, it was on the table, it was just everywhere. So although Longshot gave us good velocities, it just wasn't quite getting that burn we were looking for and that we need for consistent velocity numbers, I think is basically what was going on. And Silhouette, on the other hand, I think we were getting a good burn, we were getting better groups, but it's just a faster powder, right? So we weren't able to get the velocities we saw with Longshot. I don't know, maybe with Longshot, maybe a Magnum primer could help, I don't know. But, I mean, yeah. Regardless of the problems, it was a fun little test. I've got plenty of these bullets. Like I said, Fortune Cookie 45 LC sent me a bunch, and I already had a few on hand in my stockpile. So we've got a ton of these. If any of you guys are interested, or give me some information about what's your favorite powder for 125 grain plus P 38 specials. I've got most of the powders in this, region of the burn rate chart. Like, well, if Longshot was too slow to get the burn we were looking for, I don't know, would 2400 work in 38 special? I mean, of course it works awesome in 357 Magnum, but maybe that's worth a shot. Or Accurate number 7, or Blue Dot, CFE Pistol, Auto Comp, HS6. So we've got a bunch of powders that are probably going to be good ones for this application. Or maybe even up to Unique. So I would definitely welcome your feedback on powder selections here. So I think that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot more to talk about here, I don't think. Like I said, I'm back, so you guys better carb up. I'm hoping to, start rolling out some videos here in a pretty regular fashion through November and December. If you'd like to help support the channel, come to patreon.com/reloading. It gets you access to these videos a couple days early, because, I have to go through the monetization review process with these videos, most of them. So supporters over on Patreon get access a couple days early. Another great way to support the channel that doesn't cost you a dime is pretty much every single video. I'll have links down in the description for the main components that we used. And they're affiliate links. So if you click on them and go shopping and make a purchase, I get a couple pennies on the dollar, and eventually it adds up. And it's, big retailers that I definitely vouch for, like Brownells, Amazon, and Natchez Shooter Supplies. I've ordered from multiple times and always had good service from them. So yeah, check out the affiliate links. And you don't necessarily have to buy what I've linked. I include, generic links to go to Brownells or Amazon or Natchez, and then you just do your shopping. And there's nothing like creepy. Like, I don't get your personal information or anything weird like that. I get to see what was purchased, but I have no way of figuring out who in the world did it. So no worries there. So that's pretty much it. Assuming I don't have some major problem, should be another video tomorrow. So I will see you guys next time.